Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Simple English Talk. I'm Alex, and today I'm really excited to share something that can take your English to a whole new level. We're going to explore idioms, specifically daily routine idioms. These are the expressions native speakers use every single day without even thinking about them. If you want to sound more natural, more confident, and more connected in English, learning idioms is the way to go. Now, I know sometimes idioms feel a little strange. They don't always mean what the words literally say. For example, if I say I hit the sack, I don't mean I'm physically punching a bag. I mean I'm going to bed. That's the beauty of idioms. They carry cultural meaning. They sound alive and they make English conversations fun and expressive. So in today's long conversation, I'm going to walk you through 50 idioms that people use in their daily routines. And we're not just going to list them. No, we'll explore them in natural, real-life situations. I'll give you examples, little stories, and the kind of context that makes these idioms unforgettable. By the end of this session, you'll not only understand them, you'll be ready to use them naturally in your own conversations. Let's ease into the day just like waking up in the morning. Morning routines are full of idioms, so let's start there. Imagine this. Your alarm goes off at 6:30 a.m. and you really don't want to wake up. You might say, I'm not a morning person. I usually get up at the crack of dawn only when I have to. At the crack of dawn means very early in the morning, as soon as the sun rises. Some people love that time of day. Others, not so much. So you drag yourself out of bed. Maybe you even hit the snooze button a couple of times before finally getting up. That feeling of staying in bed a little longer, some people might call it lingering in bed or just lying in. And once you're finally awake, you might say, okay, time to rise and shine. That's another common idiom. Parents use it with kids a lot. Come on, rise and shine, time for school. Now, picture yourself in the kitchen making coffee. How many times have you heard someone say, I can't function without my morning coffee? It really helps me get into the swing of things. Get into the swing of things means to adjust to an activity and start doing it smoothly. Coffee seems to be the first step into the swing of things for many people. As you're drinking your coffee, maybe you're making a plan for the day. You might think, I need to hit the ground running at work today. That idiom means to start something and be productive immediately. Maybe you have a meeting, maybe a big project. You want to start strong. Now, daily routines aren't just about mornings. Throughout the day, we use idioms to describe all kinds of activities. For example, you might tell a friend, I'm just trying to keep my head above water this week. That means you're managing to survive even if you're very busy or stressed. It comes from the idea of swimming and struggling not to drown. And at lunchtime, maybe you're in a hurry. You might say, I grabbed a bite on the go. That means you ate something quickly while you were moving or on your way somewhere. Very common in cities where people are always rushing. Later in the day, perhaps, your energy starts to drop. You might tell your coworker, I'm running out of steam. That's a lovely idiom from the days of steam engines, meaning you're losing energy or motivation. And then, when you finish work, you might say, time to call it a day. That means you're done working for now. You've finished your tasks and it's time to stop. See how natural this is? We've already walked through a simple daily routine and discovered idioms that make it come alive. And we're just getting started. Over the course of this long session, we'll keep exploring idioms for work, family life, exercise, eating, socializing, and finally, going to bed. By the end, you'll have a whole collection of phrases that you can weave into your daily conversations. So, grab a cup of coffee or tea, settle in, and let's keep building this natural, real English vocabulary together. Sometimes when the afternoon rolls around, people say they've hit a wall. It's that moment when your energy completely disappears and you can't concentrate anymore. Maybe you're at your desk staring at the computer and suddenly your brain feels like it just switched off. That's hitting a wall. What do people usually do when they hit a wall? Well, some might take 5. That simply means taking a short break, usually 5 minutes, to recharge. You might step outside, stretch your legs, or scroll through your phone just to give your mind a rest. After that, you might feel ready to get back in the saddle. That idiom comes from horseback riding. It means returning to an activity after a break or even after a setback. Now, imagine your coworker comes by and says, "Alex, can you help me with this report?" Even if you're busy, you might say, "Sure, I'll lend you a hand." That's a very friendly idiom. Lend a hand means to help someone, and it makes you sound approachable. By late afternoon, maybe your boss drops something unexpected on your desk. Suddenly, you have to think on your feet. That idiom means making quick decisions without preparation. In modern work life, that happens a lot. You don't always get time to plan. Sometimes you just react, adapt, and keep moving. When the clock finally hits 5 or 6, most people are ready to pack it in for the day. That means to stop working and leave, similar to call it a day. There's the sense of finishing up, closing the laptop, and shifting focus back to personal life. Let's shift with them. You're on your way home, maybe stuck in traffic. That's when some people say, "This traffic is driving me up the wall." That idiom means something is making you very annoyed. You can picture yourself literally climbing the wall because you can't stand it anymore. Finally, you reach home. Maybe your kids are waiting, maybe your dog, or maybe it's just the peace and quiet of your own space. Dinner time brings its own idioms too. Imagine you've cooked a big meal. Your friend might say, "Whoa, Alex, you really went the extra mile tonight." That idiom means you did more than expected. You put in extra effort. And what if the meal tastes amazing? Someone might say, "This dish is to die for." Of course, no one wants to die. It just means the food is extremely delicious. And if you eat too much, you might laugh and say, "I'm stuffed." That's an idiom that means you've eaten until you're full, like a pillow that's stuffed with feathers. After dinner, maybe you're tired. You could say, "I'm going to hit the hay." Remember earlier I said hit the sack? Both mean the same thing, going to bed. But before that, some people like to unwind. That idiom means to relax and release stress, maybe by watching TV, reading a book, or taking a walk. And at the very end of the day, before you fall asleep, you might say, "Tomorrow is a new day. Let's see what it brings." That's not just an idiom, but it has the same feeling: hopeful, positive, and looking forward. So you see, idioms are like little snapshots of everyday life. They make language colorful, and they help us connect with people on a deeper level. Now, sometimes after a long day, people say they just want to put their feet up. That's a simple idiom for relaxing, literally imagining yourself leaning back and lifting your feet on a stool or couch. It's a moment of comfort, of letting the stress melt away. But life isn't always calm. Let's say you get a sudden phone call in the evening with unexpected news. You might feel like you've been caught off guard. That idiom means something surprised you and you weren't ready for it. It happens to all of us, and the expression captures that exact feeling. Maybe the news is good, maybe it's stressful. If it's stressful, you might tell yourself, "I'll just take it one step at a time." That's a very common idiom for handling problems gradually instead of getting overwhelmed. And if you're encouraging a friend, you might say, "Hang in there." That means don't give up, keep going even when things feel tough. Now, let's imagine it's the weekend. You've been working hard all week and you finally have free time. Some people love to let their hair down. That idiom means to relax, enjoy yourself, and stop worrying about rules or work pressure. Maybe you go out with friends, maybe you dance, maybe you just stay home and laugh loudly without a care. That's letting your hair down. On the other hand, some people like a quiet weekend. They might say, "I just want to recharge my batteries." That means resting so you'll have energy again, just like charging a phone. And sometimes recharging means doing absolutely nothing. You might spend the whole morning lounging around, which is another nice idiomatic phrase for being lazy in a comfortable way. But weekends can be busy. Maybe you have chores, maybe errands. You might say, "I've got a lot on my plate."
That idiom means you have many tasks or responsibilities. It doesn't mean food literally. It's about responsibilities stacked up like a full dinner plate. And while running errands, perhaps something doesn't go as planned. The store is closed or the item you need is out of stock. In that case, you might shrug and say, well, that's the way the cookie crumbles. That funny little idiom means sometimes things just don't go the way we want, and that's life. Even when plans fail, weekends are a good chance to catch up on sleep. That's another idiomatic way of saying you finally get the rest you missed during the week. And when you wake up late, you might laugh and say, I slept in today. That's a very natural idiom for staying in bed longer than usual. Now, think about friends calling you to hang out. You might answer, sure, I'm free as a bird. That means you have no responsibilities at that moment, so you can join them. Or if you can't, you might say, sorry, I'm tied up right now. That doesn't mean you're literally